Thank you for tuning into HardNews TV4. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today is December 16th, 2020. You might be watching this on HardNews TV5, HardNews TV6, more HardNews TV, or on BitChute HardNews TV2. But the top 10 for today will show you how oppressed we have become and how much worse it's about to get. Okay, article number 1 is from today. Pelosi tells House members that they will not be recognized unless they are wearing their mask. She didn't vote these people in. We voted these people in to represent us. But Nancy Pelosi says if they are not going to do what she says, and wear their mask, they will not be permitted to speak on the floor. House Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi declared Tuesday that any member of the House who does not wear a mask will not be recognized. Who died and made this walking corpse god? Who? In a move which will surely see her as branded as the ultimate mask Karen, Pelosi proclaimed that representatives will not be allowed to remove their face mask even when they are speaking more than 6 feet away from anyone else. So now it's getting to the point where it's not even a law, but our own representatives who want to fight for our causes and our voices, she is telling them to shut up and be quiet unless they do what she tells them to do. And in the article, they posted her not wearing her mask, getting her hair did. Let's go to article number 2. Article number 2 is from yesterday from CNN. The pandemic has destroyed friendships and families. The anti-maskers against the pro-maskers. The anti-vaccine against the ones that will take the vaccine. But Jesus said in the last days, your enemies will be those in your own house. That mother-in-law will be against daughter-in-law, and son against parents, and children against their parents. And so we're seeing it. We are seeing it. Okay? There's not too much to say. We're seeing it in our own homes. Let's go to article number 3. Now, I've talked about this until I'm sick of talking about it, but it was in the news again yesterday, so I'm going to talk about it again. Vaccine passports and health passes is showing your papers the new normal. At least that's what government corporations and mainstream propaganda media outlets have been incessantly arguing. Interestingly, the development of that vaccine was warp speed, allegedly at the behest of the Trump administration. Now, I want to show y'all. It says they tried to warn us about mandated vaccines. They tried to warn us about mandated vaccines years ago. Conspiracy theorists were ridiculed for warning of a system in which vaccines would be required to access normal aspects of life. Today, however, government officials and the mainstream media are now openly discussing the very same thing. And I just reported yesterday that saying some companies might enforce vaccination proof before you can go back to your job. In case you've been living under a rock for the past several weeks, there are several instances where the public discussion has centered around the idea of a vaccine passport or immunity passport, or the general blockade and sanctioning of anyone not willing to take the jab. Says Chief Medical Officer of Health of Ontario, Dr. David Williams, recently stated that individuals who refuse the virus vax might face some limits. Okay, and that I even reported that people in the United States are saying it also. So let's go on to article number 4. It kind of ties into this. So the CEO at Pfizer, you know, the same Pfizer that just manufactured and rolled out the vax that had to be in sub-zero temperatures brought to America, that same Pfizer, the CEO who just sent it to us says he's not going to take the vaccine, and he just graciously is going to step to the side and let other more deserving people get it. How gracious of him, right? Isn't that so gracious that he's not going to be selfish and take it himself? He'll leave it for other people to take. Well, looky. As the COVID-Vax is rolled out, Alaska health workers suffer serious allergic reaction. A healthcare worker in Alaska was hospitalized on Tuesday with a serious allergic reaction after receiving the virus vax, according to the New York Times. The person, who had no known drug allergies, so you might think you're healthy and take this and it might happen to you, was still in the hospital on Wednesday morning after observation, according to the report. It is unclear whether they suffer from any other types of allergies. The Alaska resident's reaction was reportedly similar to an anaphylactic reactions to healthcare workers in Britain experienced after receiving the Pfizer vax last week. Okay? Both of whom have recovered. Of note, they both had a history of severe allergies. One, a 49-year-old woman, is allergic to eggs. Pfizer says that eggs are not in their vaccine, though. The other, a 40-year-old woman, is allergic to several different medications. Both routinely carry EpiPen-like devices in case of reactions. Okay, but this worker did not know that they had any reactions. How many other people might stick their arm out there to get vaxxed and not know that they will have a reaction to it? We already heard that during the developmental stage, people were having adverse reactions. And is that why the CEO of the vax won't even take it himself? And the president will not take it. Donald Trump's not taking it. The White House staff is not taking it. Russian President Putin said he's not taking it. Brazilian president says he's not taking it. The CEO who manufactured it is like a drug dealer who cut down his drugs and spiked it with something else and selling it out on the street. No, y'all go on and take it on. I'm good. He's not taking it because he knows. Now, let's go on to the next story about this. One thing, I haven't been able to find what his reactions were. Did he fall on the ground, foaming at the mouth? Did he have difficulty breathing? Did he black out? So let's go to article number 6. Okay, y'all know NPR is pretty liberal. This article is from today. California may consider a historical injustice when allocating the virus vaccine. They're going to be compassionate. So this is the home of an Indian. And looky. Now, during the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, American Indians are 4 times more likely to be hospitalized for the virus than white people, and more than twice as likely to die. For all these reasons, both past and present, Hendrick says indigenous people should be moved towards the front of the line to receive the vax. So this is the best way to make reparations to them for the injustices that they have gone through. Can you believe? It says right here, when we think about the historical injustice of this nation of California, isn't now the time that for the first time we prioritized indigenous people, she says? We started to make reparations in the way that we handled and treated the indigenous people of this continent. So to make reparations, we should give the Indians the shots first. The same Indians that the white man butchered and slaughtered and drove off their land in the first place, now put them on the reservation. Now we should be so kind and give them a vaccine that's not very safe. Give it to them first. Isn't this called genocide or ethnic cleansing? When the CEO of the vax won't even take it himself, and there's been adverse reactions in clinical trials and now in the real rollout. Well, let's go and be sweet and give it to the indigenous people as reparations. We're going to pay you back. Now, I found this interesting. This is interesting because this is from today. Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs, okay, a bank, an international financial institution. Goldman Sachs' biggest risk to COVID vaccination target in the US and Europe are confidence related. So now the bankers are worried that people don't have the confidence to take it because they are highly invested in this. Goldman Sachs analysts have updated and expanded their popular research detailing the outlook for the Vax rollout in both the U.S. and internationally. As the FDA prepares to grant the virtually inevitable approval of the Moderna mRNA COVID vaccine later this week, the investment bank has expanded its monthly forecasting vaccination model by including the major emerging markets and the 10 leading global vaccine candidates. Looking farther down the road, more analysts have been discussing the prospect that we might actually see a glut of vaccine doses sooner than many had expected, at least in the wealthy countries that have managed to strike distribution deals with vaccine makers and aren't relying on Bill Gates and the WHO to bail them out. So it says, as and by demand issue, the bank means that not enough people will voluntarily go get vaccinated. So that means, y'all, a mandatory vax is coming because they are too deeply invested into this. For whatever reason, whether it's a lack of confidence in safety and efficacy or perhaps a financial reason, even though lawmakers and the president have repeatedly promised that it would be a free-for-all vaccine. Okay? So, and by the demand issue, the bank means that not enough people will voluntarily go get it. So when you've got investment bankers, global investment bankers who are heavily invested in this, and not enough people are saying they're willingly going to do it, mark my words, they're going to come out. It's going to have to be mandatory. Let's go to article number 8. Big Brother in Disguise, the rise of a new technological world order. And this article talks about how we're going to be interacting more with machines. It talked about the Google suffering that major outage last week, and people, all their internet connected devices were shutting down. Even people couldn't get in their own house because they had smart locks on their doors and it was Google connected and they were locked out. Says the outage only lasted an hour, but it was a chilling reminder of how reliant the world has become on internet connected technologies to do everything from unlocking doors and turning up the heat to assessing work files, sending emails, and making phone calls. And y'all think about these health apps. Okay, there's so much going on. My mind can't even talk about so many of the things that are going on. So it says, it's saying we've now entered into the Matrix. We are living in a prequel to the Matrix, with each passing day falling further under the spell of a technologically driven virtual communities, virtual realities, and virtual conveniences, and managed by artificially intelligent machines that are on fast track to replacing human beings and eventually dominating every aspect of our lives. Okay? So it's taken away, us being on lockdown, it's taken away our ability to interact with people. Like this whole year, little kids, kindergarten, first, second grade, that learn social skills are now locked down in their house, and they're not even able to develop those social skills. And that was the big debate that my kids had with schools before I put them in schools. When we homeschooled, the school district wanted to say, you're not giving your kids enough socialization. That's not healthy for them. Well, now kids worldwide are being deprived of socialization. But the point that I want to point out in here is that We are on the fast track to replacing human beings and eventually being dependent upon machines. Okay, and so look at the second article, 8. So this is from yesterday. Pink dot delivery robots cruise the West Coast. Remember the scene in Magnolia where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character orders dirty magazines from Pink Dot, the Hollywood convenience store that delivers? If Magnolia had been set in 2020, his order might have arrived via a robot. Pink Dot bots are delivering to a city on lockdown. It says it's just another kind of maybe cute, maybe apocalyptic images that abound in Los Angeles County lately, as get-togethers and indoor dining and pretty much all gatherings are banned due to the virus, and people enjoy whatever isolated pleasures they can get at home. They enjoy whatever isolated pleasure. Well, guess what? This is psychological conditioning. This is called the Stockholm Syndrome. And we've talked about that this was a psychological warfare being perpetrated on people, and now here's the proof. It's a psychological response that occurs when hostages or abuse victims bond with their captors. Oh, we're locked down, but the government's being so sweet, they're throwing, extras at us through either Amazon or through delivery bots. We can't interact with people, but we're grateful for the bots. Psychological response and conditioning. Y'all remember Amanda Berry and the other girls that were locked in by Ariel Castro? And they were grateful for whatever they got? Remember Pink Dot article said that people are just grateful for whatever they get? Ariel Castro's kidnapping victims, they said they were grateful when he let them out of their rooms and they could walk freely around their house. For 18 years, J.C. Duggar was held captive in a tent, gave birth to 2 or 3 kids for her captor. Wow, I didn't realize how short she is, 4'7". Okay, I wonder if part of that is because it was stunted growth. She was 11 years old when she was kidnapped, put in a tent, probably didn't see much sun, didn't get good food. But she was grateful when he would bring her pieces of paper so she could teach the children out in the tent homeschool stuff on. Okay? So, Stockholm, that people are just grateful to enjoy whatever isolated pleasures they can get. Okay, so they are not going to object to the new technology, the new not interacting with human beings, but with robots. Now, this next article is going to confirm this. This article is from yesterday. New York Police Department to deploy robotic dog to combat criminals. Okay, so they're going to take away the neighborhood police officer and going to put a machine on you. And we've talked about what's going to happen when these things are weaponized. But we'll be interacting more with technology than people, being policed by a robotic dog. Like we're slaves and a robotic dog is superior. And article number 10 is from today out of Reuters. Wearing someone else's face. Hyper-realistic masks go on sale in Japan. What could go wrong with this? Wearing somebody else's face. A Japanese retailer has come up with a new take on the theme of facial camouflage, a hyper-realistic mask that models a stranger's features in 3 dimensions. So wear a mask and blame it on somebody else, huh? The mask will go on sale early next year for $950 a piece at his Tokyo shop. Okay? So, this is the world has gone just totally mad. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.